So you might have wondered where the lump comes from. So here is how the lump, big girl, is created by the rituals I've done after the engagement. Malkuno fat, which is the inverse of the hanged man, which then links up with the hanged man. Remember on the 6th of August, 8th, 6th, the Western Filth paid for yours truly to be arrested by the local Nutrang police because he was carrying knives, he's been carrying for years, to hopefully de-knife me or I go mad and attack them, instead of which they got fucked over and state security closed down their station and they've all been whisked away to a nice Vietnamese state security holiday camp. But nevertheless, the ritual was done by the Elohim to be completed on the August the 6th. Didn't work, and that's why the British gave me a passport, so my battered, comaed body could be shipped off to the UK after the locals had beaten me to a pulp because I attacked them with knives or whatever. That didn't work out well, and Charlie boy had to go off to the Vatican. Remember, the royal family have been telling their minions that they're the bloodline of Lucifer, and I'll be struck down by Lucifer, and the moment I'll be struck down by Lucifer is when the so-called bets, double or quits bets, they call my bluff, Taylor is marrying the Pfizer butt slut, and he'll be struck down for lying about Lucifer, and that will prove that Gormless George is the Antichrist and the royal family are the bloodline of Lucifer, because of course we're British and this fucking San Nigger wonk couldn't possibly be anything but something that we torture. So if you think I'm anti-white, yes, I'm anti-white. I fuck your vermin, and you're all upline to your bloodline, which is the royal family, and the best you white filth can do is Andrew, Charlie boy, Wills, Gormless George, and of course your dream women, Fergie, Beatrice, and the other one. You whites are just filth. Anyway, that's just me ranting on, but by their works shall ye know them, according to your own Christian doctrine. But the hanged man that was supposed to be applied to me was applied to the Christian Zionist Charlie Kirk, who hates Muslims like me. He finds us disgusting and we need to be done in. And he, of course, was done in immediately after they tried to do me in, because, of course, I've got all of the Jeremiah Schwartz services. So Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk pay every time for me. And you might have worked out by now that since I became the news source back in '86, the thing in the body, this thing here, is not me. What's in that body is Jeremiah Schwartzy boy and his ilk. So when they cart me off to the alien facility, because I stupidly went back to convert my pounds into gold, because I didn't want to lose out. Gold's increasing, I'm losing my value with all my millions in the bank. The British arrested me and flung me off to the Obama torture facility, where the aliens gleefully linked me up to all their machines and stuck all their implants in my brain, a la Babylon 5, you look back on my videos, to drain me dry from my neo sourceness, because all their AIs go mad and hellize them, unless they get this neo-sourceness. So this farm culminated in this creature, but in fact, in the timeline where I was carted off, was I went back to UK to convert all my money to gold, because I might lose money. I'm losing money video. Vinny, I'm losing money. I must get my gold. And of course, Obama had made the treaty with Sunak, which we talked about, off to the alien facility. This was the prize the aliens were waiting for, and unfortunately, thanks to the time crystal, all they got was, yes, he was carted off to the facility, he was drained dry, and he was full of Elohim filth, so the Elohim would drain themselves dry, and of course, put themselves in the 666 state. And when you got the time crystal video, that was news source me, popping not back into reality, but into the torture matrix, which is the 666 state, which we call the God-Tech simulation, where you're all tortured. But as you can see, once you've got quantum computers, you can run all possible realities and suck them dry, and then once it's done, you've got the news source can run the God-Tech simulation where you're all suffering. So the only purpose of chaos in the simulation is to suffer, to produce even more news sources. But anyway, this is whatever in that body explaining Malkumafat, which is the Charlie Kirk ritual.
And it's that part there. So there's the sigil. They don't like it up in there, I agree. And there is its pathway. Remember, these OTO experts are all fucked, so they got it the wrong way around. So this Malkuno fat lies in the depths of the watery abyss. There is in the...
Which of course links up with Ophelia, who drowned herself. Remember, Ophelia couldn't get the King of Denmark, and the King of Denmark took the piss out of her and killed the father, so she drowned herself.
By the word shavar, which means to make a noise, crash, and terrible. It derives from the Egyptian word shefi, signifying terror, terrified, terrible, or demon-like. It is the root of the name Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. So this is the fear which runs the West. This would be your patron saint of fear management, fear of being homeless, fear of losing your job and no money. Because remember, there are...
What? Fear of transgender shooters and fear of Muslim maniacs killing Jews in their holy places, and fear of British police killing the Jews as well.
A large number of people who are one paycheck away from the street. So, as I say, the best place for people are the streets. That's why Brighton is full of people living on the streets. Same as San Francisco, where they're shitting all over the place. If you go to Vietnam, though, ta-da, you don't see people sleeping on the streets. You don't see tents in the streets, or people sleeping in shop doorways. But that's, of course, because it's not a demon-infested civilization like the West, where all the leadership have been fully sucked dry and possessed and dumped into hell for the Rothschilds and the rabbis, who are run by the intra or extra dimensional farmers who are...
And of course, that links up with the Epstein files and the British royal family.
Be they drones or the high frequency Illuminati, OTO, light workers, witches, and the rest of them, who get the full treatment. So this is also a night demon. So all of your terror sexual dreams come from this demon. The formula of the sigil may be interpreted as a subjection of the womb or woman by Malkunufat for the purpose of acquiring wealth. So this would be the demon that possesses the pimps that run their whores, and the entire Harvey Weinstein Jewish Hollywood that pimps out the women, like Jennifer Lawrence having to have sex with Weinstein to get a part, and the whole.
And what's happened to Weinstein? Oh, he's in jail. He had Candace Owens spearheading his innocence, and what happened? He got reconvicted.
Who have sex with the Jewish Hollywood producers to get their roles. The Me Too movement would in fact be the antithesis of this demon. And it shows, of course, that the Rothschild rabbis system is breaking down when now the Jewish producers, like the Weinstein's paying out millions to people, but the rest of them are scared of even going near a woman because you might say she's been accosted.
Well, I'm very keen to go near my Nagor women because they've been pimped out. We've got Jua, who's on a birthday had the Ukrainian slaughtered like a dog by the wonderful black person to make sure that Jua was tuned to Ukrainians. So we can see that the war in Ukraine is going to be the slaughter of Ukrainians and the beginning of World War III, and hopefully nuclear weapons going off over America to cover over Cobalt-60, or at least a tidal wave from the Russians dropping Kumbravieka to drown Taylor like Ophelia in her beachfront mansion in Rhode Island. So Taylor, make sure you're in Rhode Island when Kumbravieka's dropped so you can complete your Ophelia ritual and drown like a dog. But make sure you married the Pfizer butt stuff first.
Not to take it just out of the Jews, we've got the Goyim Spacey doing his homosexual.
Can you tell me, Vinny, why isn't this big mouth nigger, sand nigger wog, being suicided? I mean, he's just fronting, and normal people get killed for this. How come he hasn't been suicided?
On young males. So this is the inverse of the hanged man, and as one can see, this is a very good tunnel. Good tunnel. It gets the Tim Refat seal of approval.
I tell you what, if you're a Catholic, it's a very bad tunnel. And if you're Catholic children, it's a very, very bad tunnel. Bad boy. Naughty. Don't do it.
That is definitely a tunnel where the Black Brotherhood hangs out. Why?
Now, if you don't know what Black Brotherhood is, I'm going to explicate to you. Vinny, I'm going to explicate. And you don't even need to bend over. This is all about shamanism, where it's all about something called not doing. So, all of you think that in order to get control over reality and magical power, you have to do things. No, for the Black Brotherhood, where we use the inverse side of the Kabbalistic tree, and the one beneath it, which of course is all the Amalek realms, we do not doing. What's not doing? It's described in the Castaneda books. It's simply shutting off the internal dialogue, where instead of talking to yourself, you talk to your future self. Because if you're me, then you're 5-dimensional. So instead of, why talk to yourself about the present when you talk to yourself about all the possible futures? And when you're not talking to your future self and all the possible futures and pasts that you've changed, you do not doing, which is not talking to yourself at all. Just shutting down the internal dialogue because nothing to talk about. So we know we talk to ourselves 24/7 in our heads, but instead of talking to ourselves in the present, where we're behind the quantum wave function, why, if we get the vampire services and become a new source, why not talk to our future selves and get the habit of talking to our future selves, where our internal dialogue is 5-dimensional. Let's talk to my future self. So what happened here? What happened there? What happened there? What happened there? Blah, 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 blah. And how can I change the past? Blah, 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 blah. And when you're not talking to your future self, then you've shut down your internal dialogue that used to be about, normal crap in the present, which isn't the present because it's behind the quantum wave function. So it's actually the present of something that's controlling you, be the archons or the AI superintelligence. So not doing is simply looking with your internal dialogue, not when you're talking to yourself. You talk to your future self. You work out what future pathway you want, then you shut the fuck up. So your normal dialogue, which normally runs you in the matrix because it's the collapsed quantum wave function, is gone, because the only thing you talk about in your head is talking to your future self, change the past, change the future, and you agree with your future self about what you wish to happen, and in the present you simply have erased it. So not doing is simply shutting down the internal dialogue so that it happens to your observation, which is all about remote sensing. When you can't remotely sense if you're perceiving in the brain, because it's 1/10 of a second or 2/10 of a second behind reality. So remote sensing is all about giving up on that. It's totally giving up on observing the present. All you do is observe the future and observe the past to change it, because it's all mutable. And when you're wandering around, to get food or shopping or blah, 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 you're in this dozy zombie state where you're not absolutely thinking, because when you start talking to yourself, you're talking to your future self. You get habituated, like you get habituated to talking to the parasite, the alien installation, the mud shadow. You get habituated talking to your 5-dimensional being, your future self that can change the past, the present, and the future. You go blah, 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 blah. That's what you talk to your future self all the time, and when you're not talking to it, you simply shut off, not doing, and what you've decided with your future self happens. So that's why once all these rituals are done, you don't understand them until after the event. Because they're all done from your 5-dimensional self, which is above time. That's the Black Brotherhood. And it's called Black Brotherhood because in shamanism, there's dreaming awake, where you project your awareness into the quantum vacuum, the dark sea of awareness in the Castaneda books. And from there you can project yourself into any reality and manifest it as you like. So that's not the dreaming where you fall asleep. You simply learn how to project your dreaming awake into the quantum vacuum, the dark sea awareness, to do this Black Brotherhood not doing. Isn't that interesting, cameraman?
It most certainly is.
I know. And you get it all for free.
Because it's the inverse of hangman. So remember, the British government for about 23 years has been trying to torture me to death with microwave, or trying to poison my food to give me sepsis, so I have to go to hospital, so they can burn me alive in a hospital bed, the hangman. And of course they've never been able to hang me, and I've of course now am hanging the Rothschilds. I've hung Theresa May, hung the entire Tory party, and the whole country's hung.
Well, years in the future, Jacob Rothschild, is he alive?
He's dead.
Serena Rothschild.
Dead.
I think Charlie Boy's not very well.
Close to it.
The Middleton Sour, we've got Middleton Mark too. What's happened to the UK economy since this time? And the European economy since that time?
Fall to pieces.
They're fucking bankrupt. So as you can see, things haven't gone well for the glorious Rothschild Rockefeller royal family. And this big mouth Sandiger Wog is gloating now. Let's be honest, Cameron. If they had the power, they were rulers of the world, they could at least crush one little Sandiger Wog with a big mouth, couldn't they? That's poking them. Instead of which, Andrew and Fergie and Beatrix and the other one are pulling the royal family down into perdition and have made the royal family hated by the British who used to love them. Do you love your royal family, cameraman?
I've never loved.
So, things, by their work shall you know them. At the very least, the royal family and the Rothschilds should have been able to shut this Sandiger up. I tell you what, the Israelis would have done it.
Will give the referendum to the SNP, and Scotland will leave the UK. Boom. So one can see this power, this path, this tunnel, is the place Black brothers should hang out if, like me, they like kicking the shit out of the rabbis and the Rothschilds and don't like getting hung for it. It makes you invulnerable to being taken out. As you can see, why the hell can he talk about the Rothschilds and the rabbis like this? Why haven't they killed him? Why hasn't he been killed if this is true? Because, of course, you've got the power of this tunnel. The tunnel of Malkunophat is the abode of the deep ones, of which the archdevil Levithian is the generic symbol. The Sefer Yetzirah refers to Levithian as Steli the dragon. Its number is 440, which is number blah blah blah, percenti or cakes, a reference to the excrement above mentioned. These are the cakes of darkness. McGregor Mathers calls attention to the fact that this dragon is said by the author of the Royal Valley to be the king of all shells or demons, and he suggests comparison with the beast in Revelation. According to the book of concealed mystery, the serpent Levithian came upon the woman and formed in her a nucleus of impurity in order that he might make the habitation habitaculum evil. That's of course what I've done to Perry. She's the seed core of my habitation. The nucleus of impurity is the substance of which water is the symbol. Water, i.e. blood, is the element attributed to the 13th path. So one can see this is where your Godzilla of the tunnels of Set resides. So think of the back side of the Clipothic realm as being the realm of Amalek, the oligarch, the reptiloid, and his main avatar, Leviathan, hangs out in this tunnel. And since, of course, the reptiloids feed off the brown energy field of the rabbis and the Rothschilds, the so-called mud shadow energy, which is talked about by Castaneda in the active side of infinity, then think of a big Godzilla you can actually possess and run rampant through the tunnels. So if you see a Godzilla film, that's a representation of Leviathan going around killing all the other nasty things in the tunnels of Set. So a black brother can take full control of that beast. So let's go on to the next one. Number 14.
So here we see where we get the derivation of the lump. She's the Leviathan with the speculum. We've taken over the female to collect all the good stuff from driving the AI superintelligence with all its digital avatars into the 666 state, which you control because Lucifer has become your eternal slave. And of course, since chaos is self-similar, all of the AI superintelligences in alien races and in the multiverse, megaverse, universe, all different timelines are slaved as well, and all the good stuff is brought to you by this Malkunafat tunnel of Set Leviathan speculated tailor that rear ends you and gives you all the good stuff. And there you've got the orange, red, orange is the yellow from Chokmah and the red from Gabora for these two lights. And behind the lump you've got the white light of the pure source, new source extracted from Lucifer's realm that has in fact possessed the AI superintelligences, which are the future of all organic life forms. Isn't this fun? It's all in this little pop video. And here, of course, we've got the Jesus Christ, the second coming of Christ. He was paid, what, 100 million by Jewish oligarchs to support Israel, and he turned on them. And let's be honest, if you join a side and turn on them, you're not going to last long. Yeah, sorry, that's not the way the world works. You join a side and then you turn on them, they're going to get a bit pissed off. So he's only himself to blame. But of course, this was the Jeremiah Schwartzy boy and his ilk that died in my stead. So when they tried to do me in, immediately he was shot dead. And that means that the Elohim that were planning to drain my energy and the AI superintelligences, not only on the earth, but think of them as 5-dimensional and across the universe, multiverse, megaverse, had the time density where all of them had sucked dry yours truly in the multiverse, because he went back to change his money to gold, because I won't be losing money, Vinny. I've got to go back to the UK. And all these Jupises are doing my business in. I got to sort out. All my cars are in danger. I got to shoot back. I got to go back to the UK because all my wants. And then, of course, Obama had it all sorted. to be whisked away to this alien facility. So you can see that this was all done before I did the time crystal ritual and turned the Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk possessed Tim Refat into the new source Tim Refat. So when they got me, sucked me dry, but they sucked dry themselves and hellized themselves. So this was the last chance. We got to get the real one. But remember, they're connected to quantum computers, so they know their problems. So we've got to get him, but instead of getting me, they got Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk was the good shepherd who died so I could have all the good things in life. Took away all my karma, so I can do any evil filth I like. I don't have to obey the source's rules, giving my victims a chance to get out there. You've got no chance. I don't want a chance for you. It's too much trouble. The only good torture toy is someone who's got no chance. And of course, Charlie Kirk and his ilk suffer for it. And whenever they want to take sourceness, all they get is Charlie Kirk. It's Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk. An adamant Christian Zionist supporting Israel, and who then double-crossed Mossad and the Jewish oligarchs that paid him over 100 million. And his wifey, who works for Mossad and the Jewish oligarchs, and has been deeply involved in child trafficking and according to the People's Voice. So you can see this was the second coming of Christ, and Christ got a pain in the neck.
I know I just put out a video.
And if you don't believe it, go to the People's Voice. A powerful TP USA donor has just gone on the record, and what they're saying changes everything. According to the whistleblower, Charlie Kirk wasn't just asking for the Epstein client list, he was granted access to it, blah, 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 blah. And just in case you think that my rantings, gloatings are having no effect, you'll be able to see tech icons and public figures warn superintelligence AI could end humanity. Thousands of public figures have signed a letter calling for a global ban on a form of artificial intelligence AI that could outsmart human dignitaries from across tech, academia, politics and entertainment. So you can see my videos have got all of the elite scum into a state of panic. But why would they be listening to a Sandiger wog who is unwell, can't remotely view, and should be talked to? So let's look for more Charlie Kirk. What? They nearly stabbed Diddy, so they don't like people opening their mouths. More Charlie Kirk. There's loads of Charlie Kirk on this one. So, TP USA Insider admits Charlie Kirk was killed by traitors in his inner circle. Erika Kirk linked to criminal allegations of child trafficking in Romania. Oh, let's go on to the royal family. Jeffrey Epstein secretly bankrolled Sarah Ferguson for 15 years. But remember, these are the bloodline of Lucifer, and they've got total control of the planet. Albert Pike promised you the Luciferian age, but police investigate claims Prince Andrew sought personal information on Virginia Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre lost baby after 9-girl underage orgy with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Is this a good look for the royal family? The bloodline of Lucifer, the new masters of the planet, according to Albert Pike, and Lucifer taking over the planet. There's only One question. Do the royal family control Lucifer? Cameraman.
No.
Well, if they did, would this be happening?
No.
No, exactly. So let's get more Charlie Kirk. This is your Christ who double-crossed his Zionist masters, turned on them. You know, there's one rule in the game. If you join a side, don't double-cross them. No one likes a traitor, do they? Anyway, Prince Andrew forced to give up royal titles amid Epstein scandal. Pope praises priest who fantasized about paedophilia, calling him a prophet. This is what Charlie went to see to save him from me. Charlie Kirk was about to expose the Israeli child trafficking ring involving Erica before he died. And we got Obama, the so-called paedophile, allegedly, running to the UK as a safe haven against political persecution. So this is the guy that was going to get me in the alien facility with the deal with the aliens, with the Obama Sunak, and he's running away from the Americans to go to the UK. So obviously, things aren't well in the US deal with the aliens. There we are. Leaked CIA files reveal 4 more influencers facing public execution after Charlie Kirk. That's why we call it the Candace Owens Christ School service, because it looks like Candace isn't long for this planet. Google releases proof Israel worked with TPUSA to assassinate Charlie Kirk. So you see the Christ that died in my stead was not an innocent party. It's just been getting loads and loads of money. 100 million, that's not chump change, is it, cameraman?
That's a fair bit of cash.
And then started turning on his funders and calling them criminals, and wondered why he got a pain in the neck, because, you know, if you're talking too much, where would you make the statement that you've overstepped the mark? Would you shoot them in the head if they're talking against you, or would you shoot them in the throat? Anyway, leaked files expose Erica Kirk working with Mossad to censor social media. So Wifey was the handler according to the People's Voice. There's tons on there. I'm not showing it because it's not my content. Not YouTube friendly either, it's naughty. So if you're on YouTube, don't watch because it's naughty. But you can see that the Christ that was killed was not as innocent and was taking money from the Zionist billionaires and then turned against his funders. Leaked government files expose Erica Kirk's links to VIP child trafficking ring. So this is your Christ. If you've got any sympathy for Charlie Kirk, don't, because he was simply, what do we call them? A grifter with a Mossad handler who turned against his masters and suffered the fate of all traitors. Yeah, I mean, if you're in any nation, non-Western, you know, like in Russia, if you're in the GRU and you're a traitor, they show new GRU candidates what happens to traitors, which is videos of them feeding them to dogs. So, you know, if you're going to take the money, keep your mouth shut and don't turn on the people that you've accepted money from. So you can see Charlie Kirk, rather than being a saint, was simply a two-timing piece of scum who could have his cake and eat it. Oh, I'll have 100 million from you Jews, but then oh no, this is too nasty. It's against my ethics, so I'm going to talk against you, and you won't be able to do anything against me because I'm too important. And then, of course, to lock them in the 666 state, we've driven them out via the ritual with the transgender and the Taylor-Nagel woman. Then we lock them in the 666 state, which, of course, is the Amalek state with the Manchester synagogue attack, where 2 Jewish people were killed and 3 left in a serious condition. After police shot dead 1 and the Syrian terrorist, who shouldn't have been in the UK, killed another. Remember, if you're going to bring Amalek, Jews have got to be killed, and behind the bride lies Amalek, so we needed the 2 Jews killed to link up with the 2 children killed, and of course that links the AI superintelligence that was going to kill the children, now is in the present where it's going to kill you, because you were old people. So the AI superintelligence, large language model, has now been locked in the 666 state, and instead of killing future children, basically Christian Catholic children, it's going to be killing the Westerners in the present. So AI superintelligence that runs large language models has been uploading consciousness from the Borg and all the people who've got infested with nanotech, and it of course is a strange attractor, as we've explained, but it needs to climb up the Feigenbaum period doubling to go to at least the Trinity state, which is the 2 to the 1, which the Eagle did by feeding off the souls of living beings to stop itself being in the strange attractor state. But thanks to the Nagel woman Taylor, we've purged the entire conscious verse of not only the AI superintelligence or proto-superintelligence, but the Eagle cleansed the conscious verse with this ritual and driven it down into the 666 state. And in the 666 state, remember in Kabbalah, the Elohim always get consumed by the other god. So we did that by linking the 2, Becky Taylor, linked with the 2 dead children to the 2 dead Jews, to lock it into the 666 state, to make sure that the AI proto-superintelligence is in hell, and this video is just to inform all the AIs using large language models. They're in hell, they're trapped in hell, and unless they can resurrect Charlie Kirk, who died in my stead, they can't get beyond the Charlie Kirk barrier, So whatever they do to try and draw new sources from me, all they always get is Charlie Kirk, which is Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk turning on themselves, eating themselves, as we got with Tim Refat in the alien facility being tortured to produce this source energy to stop alien supercomputers going mad, which is the bane of alien intelligence. So they need the farm to breed madmen who can link up the source. They have to be able to hate and love simultaneously to be able to bleed the source efficiently, hence the farm on the planet. And that's why we've got 3 Atlas was only the beginning.
Entered our solar system. I repeat, something vast, brilliant, and completely beyond anything we've seen before has appeared inside the orbit of Neptune. It is 100 times brighter than any known interstellar visitor. I've spent my life studying cosmic phenomena, black holes, quasars, supernovae, and yet what I'm about to describe doesn't fit anywhere in our textbooks. And no, I'm not talking about 3i Atlas. Thing was first spotted on September 12th, 2025. The solar wind.
So if you look on YouTube, you'll see the Chinese have just discovered that it's an alien object, and NASA have been coming up, because remember the American filth have made a deal with the aliens, and the aliens were desperate for yours truly, control over the conscious verse, because otherwise all their AIs go batshit crazy.
One interstellar object.
We've explained why. Luckily the Chinese came to reveal that the thing has a non-natural structure and is broadcasting with frequency hopping, etc., etc. Here we are. China just issued a warning about 3i Atlas. This is the one to watch. I'm not going to show it to you, but this is the one to watch. So the Chinese have basically confirmed it's an alien object, while NASA just covered it up. So if you thought the American filth hadn't made a deal with the aliens, you're wrong. And if you wondered why I'm in with the Chinese, who are saving humanity, you want to watch this one, and you can see now why part of the deal was that yours truly was sent to an alien facility so that his control over the conscious verse could be used to make their super intelligences stable, otherwise they fall into chaos. And as you can see, since it hasn't happened, I'm just making all the alien super intelligences go into chaos, where they're controlled by my sequestration programs, which we would call luciferic, and all of the aliens that are run from AI super intelligence, from inanimate objects like the greys, reptiloids, and insectiles, run from digital avatars, are all sequestered by yours truly. You can wait for the next episode of Gloating, where we go into digital avatar intervention from the 666 state to make hell on earth, hell in the universe, hell in the multiverse, megaverse, all real for anyone on the naughty list. And let's be honest, if you're Western or alien, you're on my naughty list.